Hello folks, we've just had some crazy times, markets going up and down because Bitcoin just had that big crash right to 91, 92k. So what is happening in the markets right now? Is the bull run over, or are we just going sideways, up or down? Let's get straight to it. I'm going to show you Bitcoin, Ethereum, and then we're going to do a few altcoins and see how this plays out. So let's start with Bitcoin here. On the daily, let's make a difference between the daily and the weekly. On the daily, it looks kind of good because we have this big drops, right? Went to 92k, everyone freaked out thinking it's going to go to the 80s, but this 94k area held, and now basically that was a very good close. We're going to see a similarly strong close on Ethereum as well, but the problem is this. Now Bitcoin's going to really have to try to keep itself within the rising channel and bounce from here. And if we break 94k, right, if that doesn't hold, then we're back into this big range, and that's not good. That's not good, right? That basically, I don't think that the bull market is over, but that means we can spend weeks, even a couple of months, right, thrashing around in here. But what I want everyone to be careful is, as I said in my last video, right now I want everyone to play a little bit more defense. Before, when Bitcoin was running up to 100k, 108k, we all thought this was like pure offense, right? It's a bull run, pure offense. Now I think situations are unclear. Let's play half offense, half defense, right? As much defense as there is offense, play half and half. I'll explain why. Even though it looks good on the daily chart, on the weekly chart, Bitcoin doesn't look great, right? Because this is still, even though we had this big wick down, a big bounce here, right? Came back into the channel, this is still a pretty solid red candle. When that happens, especially when it's in a rising channel like this, what can happen is what I call fill the wick. Fill the wick meaning, see here, this was the wick down, right? So then price can meander down, right? Flirt with this 94, 93.5 area and then bounce from there. That's the optimistic scenario, or the pessimistic scenario is something like this and then break down. Then we're back into this big yellow zone again. That would not be good. And that's why I'm telling you guys since my last video in my Discord to play half defense, half offense. Half offense because, you know, we're buying some dips and thinking it could go up further, right, for the run. Half defense in that we probably want to put some shorts on as well and take some profits when they bounce for a relief rally. Now let's have a look at Ethereum. So on the daily, it looks good, right? We're looking like this is a big bottom. And a few hours ago, I said in my Discord, I said when price was up here, right, when everything looked rosy, I said, I think we're going to fill the wick. Fill the wick, meaning this is the wick, right? Wick all down to 3,100. Price meanders down somewhere like this, maybe a half fill, maybe a full fill, and then bounce up again. That would be the bull scenario. If it, once again, if it does this and then breaks down and goes to 2,800, you know, 3,000 or 2,800, right? Then that's obviously more concerning. Doesn't mean the bull market is over, but, you know, we don't want to see that. So because these scenarios can happen, that's why, you know, for the last 3 months, I've been saying 94k for Bitcoin, 94k for Bitcoin. And I've been saying it's going to have difficulty. Bitcoin's going to have difficulty getting over 100k. Bitcoin's going to have difficulty getting over 100k. And indeed, Bitcoin has had a lot of problem getting over 100k, right? It's basically a fake out and it's back down again. This is the first time I've been saying the situation's unclear, right? I can see positives and negatives. The place to place a buy order will be somewhere along here because this yellow line is the place where I would think about dollar cost averaging in. $1.68 area. And then if things get more extreme, then, well, anywhere between $1.68 to this $1.63. So that was my first zone. And if things get more extreme, I would do it around this $1.48 area. And look at this. It came in almost exactly on there, right? Makes you tempted to put on, you know, a futures leverage trade and catch that wick up. But that's your preference. If you want to do that, not financial advice from me. So here, Ondo really needs to hold this rising yellow trend line. It really needs to hold that. If it doesn't, then what we're going to see is bounce off this 164 area or even bounce off, you know, fill the wick. This is the wick. Fill the wick, bounce off to 150. Both scenarios possible. Come up. And then you got to bounce to $2 to hit this yellow rising trend line and becomes resistance. Right now is support, right? We don't want to close weekly below here, right? By Sunday night. Because if you do, then once it bounces back up again, then this becomes resistance. Here's $2, and then we're going to do these ones, and then maybe go up. So, but that just means more sideways action, and this could take us into some sort of wild swing into January, February, past the Trump inauguration, and then maybe go up. Another one, DOGE. Folks might remember the last time DOGE hit 73 cents all-time high was the exact evening when Elon Musk went on Saturday Night Live, and I called that, I was broadcasting that live, I was calling it live, and I called that the Super Bowl for crypto. And Elon Musk was already quite influential back then because he was the richest man in the world, but he's nowhere near as influential as right now, because right now he's twice as rich as before, because not just Tesla, but SpaceX is also worth like $100 billion for him. And also he's essentially, in effect, the second prime minister. He's essentially right now the vice president of the United States, and he's running a department called DOGE. Remember, he's running a department called DOGE. So even though it's a meme coin, I kind of disregard it as a meme coin. I think DOGE is actually getting quite legit. What does DOGE do? What does DOGE do? DOGE just does nothing. People don't understand crypto would say something like that. Do you know what DOGE does? Have you looked at the code, the programming, the coding of DOGE, the underlying code? It's exactly the same as Bitcoin. If you say Dogecoin is a meme coin, then Bitcoin is also a meme coin. Because the guy, his name's Billy Marcus. There's two of them. There's one Aussie guy and one American guy who created and invented Doge. They basically took the coding, copied the coding of Bitcoin, exactly the same, and then they just changed a few numbers. The most significant number they changed is inflation. The inflation on Doge is larger than Bitcoin. If this bull run doesn't get cut short, so I'm expecting a higher run for Doge, all-time high, which was 73 cents. It can get cut short because of recession, because of whatever reason. It followed the technical levels actually relatively well. So basically, 27.4 is where I had it. It got down to 26.4-ish area, right? So when 1 cent passed my level daily, it's looking good, right? This is a very good looking bottom in tail. And now, because what's happened to Bitcoin and Ethereum, as I said to you guys early in the video, now what could happen is basically we could have a fill of the wick, and it could come down to below 30 again to say like 38, 28, 29, maybe even touch this 27.5 area and bounce again. If there's a panic in the market, I can't rule it out. Then the next place is 23 cents. This is where we can place, at 23 cents, where we can place what they call stink bids. Stink bids means like you don't expect it to get filled, but if it does get filled, then great. And if it was to get back to this area, when it hits this channel, bottom of this channel, 39, 40 cents, depends on when it hits, right? Because it's an upward sloping channel, then basically for futures traders, then maybe take some profit. And if you are confident, you think this is going to run more, then let it bounce and see if it can confirm itself back into the channel again. It's important that it gets back into the channel, because if it doesn't, then we're going to see more rejection here, right? At around this 39, 40 cents level, and then back, and then more bounces off this 27. You know, this is pretty simple. Basically, buy the support areas and sell the resistance areas, right? When it gets to resistance, we sell some. When it gets to support areas, we buy it. And this is basically what you do in uncertain times like we are right now, which is half defense, half offense type of market. So one more we'll look at is Sushi Coin, because it's the number 2 largest DEX on Ethereum, and because Ethereum has taken a battering from 40 being the second largest DEX, went from what, like 280 to now, this is weekly, $1.26. So my two levels here for support, $1.39, and another is at $1.22. It kind of stopped somewhere in between. If you're just a spot trader and you really want to catch it, $1.39 is nice discount. It's already 50% down from $2.80, and then $1.22. So I do think we're going to fill the wick situation here. $1.40 and $1.22 is where I'm putting my dollar cost averaging orders. In extreme scenario, it could wick to like 93.94 cents area. That, you could try putting some bids there to see if you get lucky or not. And then in extreme panic, it hits there and then bounce from there. I do think Sushi will play out something like this, and then boom, eventually go to a higher high, like $5, and then $6.20 are its next targets. But that's months down the track, and that's provided if this bull run does not get cut short by the recession, by the stock market, by the yen carry trade, US dollar yen carry trade, whatever.